Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, trillion-dollar business of sports, and it's only getting bigger. NHL Stanley Cup Finals coming to an end. NBA Finals that everybody wanted, except if you're living in Oklahoma City. Major League Baseball heading to the midpoint and the All-Star Game soon. A third of the season is already over. Major League Baseball gives way in many cities to football. Football, obviously the king. Baylor, college football, a lot of issues to discuss. But how about the winners? Leading teams make big business decisions. Dateline, Golden State, the Warriors. Facebook head of global partnerships, Dan Reed, explained how the Warriors use the social media platform incredibly well. Joe Lacob took over with his ownership group in 2013, and he added 10 new employees to his social media department and authentic posts. The bottom line is that 265 million interactions on Facebook during the Super Bowl. Can't wait to see what kind of interactions during the NBA Finals, thanks to the Warriors' proactivity. Go to another leader. The Cubs are leaders on the field, clearly. Theo Epstein, Tom Ricketts, Jed Hoyer, and the guys. But the Cubs have taken an interesting sponsorship revenue strategy among the team's rapid climb to the top. He said if you got too many partners, not only don't you service them well, but they don't feel like they have a commitment to the team. So more is not necessarily good, but right now, I got to tell you, it's certainly working for the Cubs. How about the Giants? Yeah, it's an even year. It's about time they play well. It's uncanny. But they're looking to the city for millions of dollars in property tax refunds, claiming the value of AT&T Park dropped well below the $200 million the team paid for it 16 years ago. We've got a very interesting and diverse show. Todd Reynolds, the event director of the Louis Vuitton event at the America's Cup prelims and trials in Chicago, happening the weekend. And the other guests include Derek Schiller, the president of the Atlanta Braves, and his carving out his own legacy in addition to his family's. And last but certainly not least, John Butler, the executive director of Pop Warner, sports safety, cheerleading, not too violent. The issues are Pop Warner at their little scholars banquet last week. A very, very interesting perspective from John Butler. I'm on that board, and I'm on there for a reason. They do good work. Anyway, a very diverse show today. Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a couple of minutes.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
At Sweet Tarts, we love candy. The soft ones, the gummy ones, the little bites with big flavor. Not just any candy. The kind of candy that makes the world less bland with every extra tangy, sweet, and tart taste. Like our new Sweet Tarts Mini Gummy Bites. Try them, squish them, share them, love them. We do, because candy is what we do. It's our thing, our passion. A passion you can taste in every mini gummy. Follow your passion. Follow your tart. Sweet Tarts.
iHeartRadio loves music, so let's count the ways. Over 20 million songs from 800,000 artists, all free. And like Pandora, you can create your own custom station from any of those 800,000 artists. Just tell us an artist or even a song that you like, and we'll build a custom playlist for you. Add to that thousands of the best live radio stations, and you'll never have to worry about finding the perfect song for your commute, mood, or party. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download our iHeartRadio app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Significant interview, significant event. Todd Reynolds, the event director for the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series Chicago event, serves as program director for the Chicago Match Race Center, which was founded to bring world-class match racing to the shores of Lake Michigan. Unbelievable. Experienced sailor. Originally grew up off the Jersey Shore. And prior to that, team captain at Northwestern University. But here is a stadium with suites and seats, except only half of it, the other half in Lake Michigan. A very interesting perspective that we should all hear. He's got an amazing perspective to share. Todd Reynolds.
We usually talk about stick and ball sports, but we've been on enough to know that we've also dealt with you could call them secondary or niche sports. I suspect that's not appropriate given the economics that's generated by some of these. And, why not sailing? Why not America's Cup? We have the event director of the Louis Vuitton event, which is really significant as part of the whole America's Cup series. The guy that will explain all of that, Todd Reynolds. Todd, how are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So give us the elevator speech about the event and Chicago and Navy Pier and the excitement generated around that particular event, and also the broad perspective of the series.
Yeah, so this is the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series. This is a qualifier event towards the America's Cup Finals, which will be held 2017 in Bermuda. Teams are working to get points to pick who ultimately is going to take on Team USA for the right to take the America's Cup back to their country. The racing that we're going to have here in Chicago is going to be the first ever freshwater racing for the America's Cup in 165 years.
Bottom line of all of it, obviously, is people in Chicago certainly don't know what they're experiencing, and the economics of it will be second to none. Tell us a little bit about the economics of the event itself from the television perspective as well.
Yeah, so there's a number of international broadcasters. Will be all over the world. There is the U.S. broadcaster is NBC, and NBC Sportsnet will be taking the live. NBC will be having our highlight show. And then we've actually launched what they call the AC app with AC Plus. And so any fan can actually get the live in the U.S. It is geo-controlled. But in the U.S., any fan can download the America's Cup app right on their phone, and they can watch the live racing, no commercials, for a pretty nominal fee.
Todd Reynolds running the event, but also running the packaging of all of this from a broader perspective. Give me business show, business answers. Give me kind of the perspective of packaging the whole America's Cup series, what it looks like. Paint the picture of the mini balance sheet, dollars in, dollars out.
Yeah, so I'm really just focused on the Chicago event right here in Chicago. For us, our primary deliverables, right? We have scope with the America's Cup, and we've got to deliver the racing here in terms of the venue and security and making sure the racing is running and the fan experience. And the economics work out that via ticket sales, via hospitality sales, as well as via local sponsorship plays a big role in that.
So the first freshwater racing in 160-plus years, Lake Michigan as well, but obviously the backyard of a really significant urban area on the water. What does a successful hosting of an event like this in Chicago mean to America's Cup and sailing as a spectator event, let's say all across North America, for starters?
Yeah, so we like to say the Windy City is made for this. Chicago truly is a unique venue. The America's Cup is no longer held miles offshore, right? We're now sailing 45-foot-long wing-sailed foiling multi-hulls. These boats literally fly above the water. They're going 35, 40 miles an hour. And in Chicago, we're able to bring that race course right into the heart of downtown. And so Navy Pier is a massive tourist destination, number one tourist destination in the Midwest, over 9 million visitors annually. And that serves as our race headquarters. And we race actually inside the old industrial breakwall. So there actually are 4 walls to our stadium, racing from Navy Pier down to the planetarium and museum campus, inside this breakwall for the racetrack. It really is second to none, and it's going to be a spectacle for everybody that's watching it on both onshore as well as around the world.
Give people an idea of price points to the extent you're able to. The 4 corners, as you would say, of the Chicago event. Suites, seats, premium areas, corporate hospitality. For people who are watching and listening here and who think about this in terms of a traditional stadium and arena, what are the similarities and differences from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, so the number one difference is, right, we're not in an arena, right? Our arena is Chicago. And so our event village is Navy Pier, and then we have to transform that and make it into an arena. And when we approach the problem of how do you provide these different viewing experiences, what are the right price points, right? We've never done this before, so it is a little bit of a learning experience. We do go out and collect quite a bit of data to help us try to price this appropriately. And ultimately, we want to make sure there are options available for everybody's different viewing objectives and budgets. And so we have the general race village ticket, general admission. You can buy a weekend pass or a single day. And a single day pass was going for $29 when we launched it. We're now a little bit less capacity, and that's now going for $35 for adults, 50% of that for kids. We want to make it accessible, but we are capacity constrained, and ticket sales there are going really, really well. And then a little bit more premium experience is the grandstand. So reserved seat, 8 feet up, overlooking the race course, really could not get a better spot. And that was going for $350 when we ended it, and we are sold out of those tickets. Above that, we do have a corporate hospitality option, just like you'd find at golf or F1 motor racing, similarly priced. And then we actually have kind of a super VIP option, which is really reserved for partners and a handful of corporate groups that bought in. We've actually put a boat in the middle of the race course. So this is like having your suite at your bowls game up in the scoreboard. And so that we're really excited about that. I think that's going to be a really, really unique experience. And that was a $2,000 per day per person ticket. So much premium pricing, but really, really unique. And then finally, Chicago is just so perfect. And because of the Burnham plan, because of the way the city is set up, we have 18 miles of unrestricted lakefront. And so the public that maybe don't want to have the experience at Navy Pier, don't want to pay to go into the race village, they're going to be able to come out, have a picnic down on the city front, and just enjoy the day and enjoy watching America's Cup racing coming to Chicago for the first time.
What are you doing with those interloper law firm, accounting firm, big building tenants who have the lakefront view anyway and who are probably going to have viewing parties? You trying to extract a toll, or is just one of those goodwill things you can't get any money from?
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to do that one yet. No, I mean, it is over the weekend. If folks are up in their buildings watching it, fantastic. The more fans that come out and check it out in Chicago, the better. But it's not going to be quite the same experience as coming down to Navy Pier, seeing these boats from meters away from where you are. But we hope that everybody comes out, whether it's at the pier, up in a building, at the top of the Athletic Association Hotel is going to be fantastic, down on museum campus. And then even on the water. And we've actually got 2 great options for getting out on the water. One is entertainment cruises. They have the boats, the Odyssey, the Mystic, and the Spirit, all down at Navy Pier. These are big, beautiful hospitality boats, and anybody's able to come onto one of those boats, and those boats will be on the front line. Much more reasonable price point than the Elite in the middle of the race course. Looking at about $300, including food and beverage, to get on one of those boats. Hop online for tickets to that. And then finally, for boats that actually for boaters that own their own boat, Chicago does have the largest public harbor system in North America, which is pretty cool that the middle of the country has that. Everybody's going to be welcome out. Watch from your own boat. But we have put together a boater's pass that gets those folks to come down to the pier on Friday for the opening ceremony, get that experience, get their T-shirts, and then they get to watch it on the water on Saturday and Sunday.
Todd Reynolds obviously knows what he's talking about. He's running an event that, unless you haven't heard about this, is on water. And the bottom line is it's many first-time challenges. I guess my question from a business perspective, what's in it for Louis Vuitton?
Louis Vuitton is a really cool story. They are one of the oldest partners in all of sport, continuous. Right, it goes on 33 years they've been involved in the America's Cup.
Louis Vuitton America's World Cup Series Chicago event, big deal. Todd Reynolds talks about the event, but talks about how you can do certain things, learning from other major events, even if it's not applied 100% to the event you have. Words to live by. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a couple of minutes.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but how could you with all of the events that are going on now, and some of the ones bigger than others, but they are all economically important. Even the teams that aren't doing really well now, to be honest about it, baseball, for example, doing some great things off the field, stadium-wise. Derek Schiller, president of the business for the Atlanta Braves, leading the team into a new stadium era. He served as EVP of Sales and Marketing at the Braves from 2007 through now. He's also served as VP of Sales and Marketing for the Thrashers, VP of Business Development for the Yankees from 96 to 97. Famous father, Harvey. But this is all about Derek and the Braves. Derek Schiller.
Well, first of all, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for having at the beginning of this such an amazing title. So I am told by a little bird that the only person that has a similar title is Will Ferrell in one of the sports movies. You got to tell me about that.
Well, I think it's the Lego movie that came out last year.
Even better.
Yeah. So I guess the only thing we have in common is probably the fact that we're building stuff. He was building Legos, or his son was, and I'm building a new ballpark and a development. But I'm not sure that I have his comedy. So
nor should you, by the way. But he doesn't have your business acumen, nor your dad's business acumen, frankly, nor anybody else's relating to the way that facility works and the way the Braves work, et cetera. So, yeah, you're building a little project. Why don't you tell us about it?
So we at the Braves are building a brand new ballpark. It's called SunTrust Park, and it's located on the northwest side of Atlanta. It's about 10, 12 miles away from Turner Field. And probably the most interesting thing about it is we're not only building that ballpark, but we're also building a mixed-use development. It's a $550 million mixed-use development that is all actually master planned with the ballpark. So in that regard, it's pretty revolutionary because it's really the first time that a sports team has embarked on this kind of project all at the same time, master planning and building all at the same time, this ballpark and this development together. So it's really ambitious, but really, really invigorating.
Derek Schiller, President of Business for the Braves. Interesting, invigorating, entrepreneurial, and I dare say a little bit risky, if only because there are a number of other dynamic things that are going on in Atlanta at the same time. Mercedes-Benz Stadium downtown. The irony is the ability for you guys, and I've been in the facility business for 9 million years, how you pulled off the announcement at a time where not too many people expected it. Usually there's a lot of controversy. You just went ahead, announced it, and did it. Kudos to you.
Well, thanks. It was, a lot of people behind the scenes kept their mouths shut, just to be blunt about it. And, we were trying really hard to work with the city and the county who owns Turner Field to try to figure out a way forward. Ultimately, we all reached the conclusion that wasn't possible, and so we were somewhat forced to look around and figure out what was in the best interest of the Braves for the long term. And when we did so, we started to map out our fan base and realized that we had an opportunity to actually build a ballpark that was closer to the center point of our fan base. So that's one of the key prerequisites that we had. And then the other was that we wanted to own real estate around that ballpark because we believe in a philosophy that really takes the fan experience and doesn't start and stop at just where your ticket is given at the gate, but really starts well beforehand. And it's kind of come full circle from some of the older ballparks and sports venues. The ones that people really recognize are some of the great ones out there, such as Fenway Park and Yawkey Way around there, or Wrigley Field and Wrigleyville around there. So we're trying to replicate sort of the experience of all that, and doing it all at once is really the point to it.
Well, and the interesting thing about your dynamics here, obviously, are no more Thrashers, but clearly the Hawks are going upward as far as their on-court prowess. You have a new stadium for the Falcons and a Super Bowl coming, so there is a lot of competition for sports corporate and investment dollars in the marketplace, is there not?
There is. Atlanta is really a unique marketplace when you look at just the sports dynamic, sports entertainment, because of the fact that, as you mentioned, there's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium coming online right around the same time as SunTrust Park. So if you couple those two together, you're talking about $2 billion worth of venues just right there. And then the Hawks have announced that they're going to try to do something with their venue, and now you got the Super Bowl. Obviously, we're going to be interested in trying to get Major League Baseball All-Star Game to come to Atlanta at some point in time. So it's a really great time to be thinking of sports in Atlanta. And I also think it's a really interesting study, if you will, because from a business perspective, we're kind of approaching it in a lot of different ways, none of which I don't think will be wrong, but just different. So Mercedes-Benz Stadium approaching theirs in a really unique way. I think their stadium is going to be fantastic, and obviously has some unique characteristics to it. The roof being one of the ones that I hear a lot about. But in ours, as I said, we are really approaching it to kind of expand upon what the fan experience means in coming to a ball game, so that you come earlier and you have things to do shopping or restaurants or bars to go to and stay later after the game and celebrate the Braves' victory by, going to a bar or a music venue or the various things there. And then also having apartments and an office building and various things that kind of all energize that area. So just different approaches, but all unique and hopefully successful collectively.
Unique, collectively successful. You can clearly handle it. I would say, representing all of the people who have come up the traditional way, I guess, the law school, business school, whatever, that it is very unfair, Derek Schiller, president of business at the Atlanta Braves, that we can all do normal business learning and analysis. You get to learn around Thanksgiving dinner from probably one of the best business guys in the history of sports, your dad. Tell us what that was like.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, nepotism here is, in my case, a career builder. It was helpful. I had a father who not only instilled in me a great work ethic and was 23 years military in the Air Force, but after his career pursuits in the military, ended up getting into a substantial sports career as well. Starting with commissioner of the Southeastern Conference and then going on to the United States Olympic Committee executive director there. And
by the way, it's Harvey, in case anybody doesn't know by now.
Yeah. And then Turner Sports, the Yankee Mets, there's a whole host of things. And now he's involved with America's Cup. So I have been the beneficiary of seeing him conduct his business and the way he goes about doing things and the relationships, and being fortunate to meet a lot of the people that have been, sometimes at our dinner table. And so it's been really, really a great experience growing up. And so I thought the transition was really easy for me once I got out of school and figured out kind of what I wanted to do after I got an engineering degree of all things. So now I'm in the sports business. I've been doing so for about 20 years.
Well, we'll get off this one in a minute. I'm interested in a Thanksgiving dinner table conversation where, your dad, who knows a lot about the Atlanta market clearly and knows about Turner and the SEC and the Olympics and all of that, will he ever second guess you openly? And if he does, do you care?
He will second guess me directly to my face all the time. It's one of the things that we did regularly was he more so than me challenged, anything and everything that I was involved with, questioned it, and that was part of the learnings was always asking unique questions and things that you hadn't thought about. In some ways, actually, I work for Steinbrenner, and they have a little bit in common in that because you always go into discussions with Steinbrenner the same way that I was sitting around the Thanksgiving table with my dad, and never thinking about the question that might come up. I mean, you always had to be, I would call it almost overly prepared, sort of equating it to, when you're in college and your professor called on you and he asked you the question you were least prepared for. That is somewhat what I experienced not only with my dad, but then later on with working for Steinbrenner.
Yeah, it is interesting to what a training in working for both of them. Back into the interview, Derek Schiller, president of business for the Atlanta Braves. Where do we go in a few years relative to the merger of sports, entertainment, and the fan experience? You build your facility, and it's not really only a ballpark. It's a retail and entertainment center that has a ballpark component as a catalyst. So how do we deal with the decouching piece of this, meaning Turner Sports and FSN South and Sports South, you're involved with all of them and the relationship. You want to maximize viewers, but yet you also want people to get off the couch and come to the facilities and eat in the restaurants and go to the game. Is that competitive or is it synergistic?
Well, I'll use a different way to go at this. So a lot has been talked about technology and, future of sports involves technology. We certainly believe in that. We have a substantial deal that we have with Comcast, and we're going to have best-in-class Wi-Fi and all those things. But at the heart of it, if you reduce it down to its simplest form, attending a sporting event is a choice. It's not a requirement, and it is a social experience. And I think that's true more so in baseball than I would argue in any other sport. First of all, there's no clock. So by its very nature, it's social without having sort of a time limit to it. Baseball lends itself to sitting next to somebody and having a great conversation. And baseball's Americana, and you think about it, and it's a lot defined by your fan traits are usually defined by what your parents did by bringing you to the game, experiencing a game with your mom or dad. And so I actually think in a lot of ways sports and the newest sports venues need to embrace that social fabric. You don't get the same social experience when you're sitting on the couch watching that television that I would argue you do by attending a sports event, hopefully by attending a sports event at a new ballpark with the amenities that you want when going to that.
Derek Schiller, big perspective, Braves, new stadium, but clearly a great market, great baseball fans, they'll do well. Rick Horrow, be back in a couple of minutes, Beyond the Scoreboard.
Imagine a store that lets you get anything you wanted. An HD flat-screen TV, a high-capacity, ultra-quiet washer and dryer, a complete living room set. And imagine if you didn't need a lick of credit to get it. That store simply believed in you. Imagine if they even delivered it, set it up, and serviced it at no additional cost. Well, that store exists. That's Rent-A-Center. Imagine that. No credit needed, affordable payment plans, delivery, setup, and service included. Imagine new possibilities at Rent-A-Center. Rental purchase transaction. See store for details.
When you need spent a little too much time in the sun relief.
Yikes.
Ow, what the? Attack of the angry mosquito relief.
Hey, watch this.
Scraped knees.
And an elbow.
Relief. You need new Gold Bond Pain and Itch Relief Cream with lidocaine. Gold Bond has the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription and starts working on contact to numb away pain and itch. New Gold Bond with lidocaine. Relief starts now. Use as directed.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. There is a lot of discussion today about eliminating football as too violent with the group that I am on the board of, and John Butler, the executive director, Pop Warner, winner of many youth sports accolades and awards. The Pop Warner Little Scholars Banquet, an incredible group of individuals in Orlando, proud enough to be involved in this board. He was president of Ray Crowther Company, the leading manufacturer of football blocking sheds and field equipment years before. High school assistant football coach. Pop Warner, a leader in cheer, a leader in football, proud to be involved in the organization. John Butler.
Well, the full name of the organization, as you know, is Pop Warner Little Scholars. We are the only national youth sports organization that requires satisfactory progress in the classroom to participate on field. On the flip side of that is we don't allow any individual recognition for athletic achievements. So we don't have any MVPs, any All-Stars, but we have an academic All-American program. This year we recognized almost 8,000 boys and girls in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades as first team, second team, honorable mention All-Americans. The lowest GPA of any of those kids is a 96. It's an astounding group of kids. First teamers, there's 35 football players, 35 cheerleaders for each of those 4 grades, all solid 100 averages. All of them are, for example, president of the Science Club, Eagle Scouts, on and on and on. It's every year we just kind of shake our heads and go, wow, what a great group.
And I've been on your board for nearly a decade, and I know you through all cycles. I call you all the time. And the biggest, maybe publicity-related event is the first, second week in December at the Pop Warner Super Bowls. But I know for a fact that Memorial Day weekend, you are proudest of this weekend here because it gives you a chance to award scholars and also just a validation that the Pop Warner program is succeeding.
That's exactly right. I mean, we do 2 tributes to the scholars, just 2 because of the numbers, where it's we had one of the Jacksonville Jaguars and spoke very well to them, and then we called them up one at a time. But I told them in the introduction that, we do 2 national events, as you said, our Super Bowl and National Cheer and Dance Championships, and our academic awards dinner. And in many ways, I feel this is more important because in December, we are recognizing athletic success of whole teams, whole squads, which is great, absolutely great. But here we're recognizing individual young people for truly being the scholar of the scholar-athlete part.
Let's get the huge helmeted elephant in the room out of the way first. This brand has existed for a long time. We'll talk about that. But yet, you talk Pop Warner, you talk youth football, and the first thing everybody talks about in media is concussion prevention. Do you want your kids to play? And the irony is that you've been dealing with safety issues in the threshold since day one. So, first of all, give me your latest information relative to the congressional hearings. I know that you've been invited to testify in front of a committee in Congress, and your issue is analyzing whether or not you're going to. One of the big questions from this committee is what changes you've done after Jeff Miller, the SVP of Health and Safety for the NFL, acknowledged the link between football and degenerative brain disease as if it crossed the Rubicon, and now they're talking to everybody else in football as if, what are you doing? And you've been doing things a lot well before that, so talk a little bit about that.
Well, it starts a long time ago, before my tenure at Pop Warner. We've always had an age-weight schematic, so that kids are matched by both age and weight. More recently, in 2010, we were the first national youth sports organization to enact our own concussion rule, modeled on the Lysted law from Washington State. And it's very simple. It says that any head injury, the participant must be removed from play, whether it's practice or game. They cannot return to play until they are signed off on in writing by a medical professional trained in concussion recognition. So it takes all the pressure off the coach. It takes all the pressure off the parent who says, oh, he's fine, put him back in. We know a lot more about concussions. Then in 2012, we were the first football organization at any level to institute 2 rules limiting the amount and time of contact in practice. And with those rules changes, and then in 2014, we started requiring all of our coaches to take the heads-up football training course from USA Football.
Now, 12, just to interrupt for a minute. Now, 2012, if my timing is correct, that's well before a lot of these investigations even started.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
2014, we started requiring coaching education on an annual basis, and that combination of the coaching training and the rules changes mean that compared to independent non-Pop Warner programs that don't do the heads-up football training, we have 87% fewer overall injuries in practice and 76% fewer concussions in practice.
And now the latest rules that have generated a lot of publicity about the elimination of kickoffs.
We've eliminated kickoffs at our 3 youngest age levels, feeling that kickoffs, and less so at our age range, to be honest, versus high school and college, but kickoffs has relatively the highest rate of injury, and it's essentially 22 people running at each other at full speed, and less so at our age range, but we just feel that it's worth trying. We think it's going to be a success, and see where we go from there.
As a passionate dad who I've known for a long time, how does it feel to be in the middle of this controversy, and in many ways called before the Congress Committee on Energy and Commerce, and lumped with others who may not care as much about the sport? Let's ask that question broadly first.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. The media has been so singularly focused on football. I very tongue-in-cheek have said in a number of interviews, we all know kids only get concussions playing football. The reality is kids get concussions in all kinds of different ways. Football or any organized sport doesn't hold a candle to concussions in bicycle riding, skateboarding, rollerblading. There's all kinds of issues, and finally some pediatricians are coming out very strongly and saying the risks of inactivity so far outweigh the risks of any organized youth sports. It's interesting, the Sports and Fitness Industry Association annual survey of youth, they list it's either 105 or 108 activities that kids can do, and the percentage of kids who do nothing in a given year has gone up 6 or 7% in the last several years. It's frightening.
Frightening. Now the business response. Kids, youth sports, youth football, kids coming in less. What are those numbers? And also really important, the insurance policy numbers as well. Just give me your general perspective on how all of this, from the NFL perspective, has impacted you.
Our numbers were down in 2010, 11, and 12. We've been flat ever since. It's interesting times. The kids who want to play generally are still playing. I think the marginal ones, it's a shame, but maybe they aren't, and that is a shame, I think. It's interesting, too. We formed a new organization a few years ago called the National Sports Concussion Coalition, of which I serve as president. And all of the other sports realize that they have a concussion issue, too. There just hasn't been any media focus on it. So, again, kids get concussions, all kinds of, if you take a normally healthy, active child, male or female, 8, 10, 12 years old, who wants to play football, it's not like they're going to sit on the couch wrapped in bubble wrap. They're going to climb a tree and fall out or ride a bicycle. And
yet you cringe, and it's not your legal bones or your business bones. Maybe it's your heart. Whenever you see a Bubba Smith or a latest CTE victim and issue, how are we going to resolve this long term?
Well, I think as a layman, I follow the lead of the Doctors in our Medical Advisory Committee, but both a number of them and some others also feel that we probably have a genetic and or chemical predisposition towards having problems or not, similar to family history of heart disease or cancer. They're doing so much research now, and it's a really exciting time, but we're at early days of that. They are looking at certain chemicals that react, and is that the cause of it? We don't know yet.
Well, as promised, as a normal interview, we got that issue out of the way, and probably next to the most important specs in all of this are where Pop Warner is, where's it been, where's it going from a budget perspective, a business perspective, and most important, the brand perspective. History of Pop Warner, where it is today, where do you think it's going, and where the business of Pop Warner impacts all of youth football?
Well, we are the best-known brand. We've been around since 1929. Certainly, we are clearly leading the way in terms of safety. The research company that did the data study of injuries that I cited a moment ago, basically his recommendation is that if kids are playing football, they should be playing Pop Warner football. And we feel very strongly that way. Many times parents aren't aware if their child is playing football, they sometimes assume it's a Pop Warner program when it's not. As far as where we're going, it's an exciting time. We're getting more and more media exposure. Met with the Disney and ESPN folks while I've been down here. They're looking into more ways to get more airtime for us, which would obviously be a great thing. It's it's kids running around having a good time, and we try to keep it. Safety is our number one concern. We try to keep it as fun as possible.
And safety and fun, they do coexist. And as a business person who's been at this for a long time, how do you protect and perpetuate the brand?
It's never easy, the nonprofit world these days, for sure. But certainly with the help of folks we're working with, and we have some great business partners, sponsors, and partners, and some interest from some others, and certainly plan to grow that. 200.
What's the latest number of kids playing football?
225,000 football.
But yet, 100,000 cheer.
Yeah, over 100,
and I would argue that it is one of the least publicized and least known elements of your business, but you're going to correct that right now.
No, it's we're very proud. We have about 125,000 cheerleaders and dancers. We're the oldest and largest youth cheerleading program also. And the one issue that's important to us is cheerleading. Since Title IX was written 40-some years ago, cheerleading is truly a sport these days. We'd love to see it declared as such.
You'd love to see it, and a lot of people would love to see it. Is that going to happen relative to the Title IX era? Is there a political movement to deal with that today?
I think everyone is very leery of touching so much as a comma in Title IX, and understandably so. Title IX has done a lot of great things. Unfortunately, it does say cheerleading is not a sport. It's an extracurricular activity, so we'd like to see that changed.
So John Butler is an Eagle fan. Can you be agnostic with the NFL, knowing that you've got to deal with all of these owners on an equal basis? Let me know really how you can root for the Eagles, but keep it quiet. What's the deal?
Well, the easy question is I look for other affiliations. I root for NFL teams that are very active with their local Pop Warner programs. I look for 65 to 70% of current NFL players started in Pop Warner, so I look at their achievements and root for them along the way. So it makes it very easy.
How long is John Butler running Pop Warner, and what's next for you?
Honestly, I never thought I'd be here 25 years, and it's been very rewarding. I've enjoyed it, and certainly with the whole overhype of the concussion issue, it's not a good time to leave if I wanted to.
John Butler, a leader in youth sports as well as football, incredibly important in the years ahead. Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a couple of minutes.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Inspire Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, damages and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but a significant $1 trillion business. All aspects really important, and we deal with the bad, the good, and the hopeful in the economy in this week's Bust, Boom, and Hope. First bust. With Sports Authority's bankruptcy and its failure to make quarterly payments, the Broncos looking to sever their sponsorship agreement with the soon-to-be defunct sportswear retailer. The Broncos in the Metropolitan Football Stadium District hoping to keep Sports Authority from selling or auctioning contracts relating to the team at Mile High Stadium. And the retailer has a separate naming rights contract signed with the Stadium District. Under the current contract, the retailer required to make annual payments between $6 and $9 million, split between the Broncos and the Stadium District. Sports Authority's next scheduled payment for $3.5 million due August 1. A portion of the Sports Authority's trademarks, intellectual properties, and leases expected to be auctioned off on June 23. That's before the payment. How about this? How about boom? NFL Pro Bowl committed to Orlando's Camping World Stadium, 2017-2018. The Pro Bowl a significant issue and obviously a boom to all in the NFL. Finally, hope. Orange Company, the official partner and digital provider of Euro 2016, continuing its Orange Sponsors You campaign ahead of the month-long tournament by unveiling a major operation in collaboration with the city of Paris. Orange social media user to power lighting up the Eiffel Tower based on a number of tweets. And starting every night, the Eiffel Tower will display the colors of the country that generates the most discussion on social media. Every country seeing its flag displayed on the Eiffel Tower. Orange plans to project the most creative social media posts on the tower itself. The bottom line, given all of the issues that Paris has been dealing with recently, it is good that a company is doing good and doing great at the same time. That's our show for the day. I'd like to thank Todd Reynolds, event director, Louis Vuitton America's World Cup Series Chicago event, sailing in Chicago. I'd like to thank Derek Schiller, baseball in Atlanta. I'd like to thank John Butler, youth football across the globe. And join us next week when once again we go Beyond the Scoreboard.